Pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome, one and all. Welcome. Hope you had a restful night. Hope you are geared for a productive day and a productive week. So, welcome to this Wednesday's episode. Today, Wednesday, July the 24th, 2024. Here we are again for another what promises to be a very educational, informative session. As we say, share the live. You come on, share the live. Now that we have gone live, give us our thumbs up, show your appreciation. Share the live, let people know that we are here this morning, Wednesday, the 24th day of July, 2024. My colleague, CC, is already in the studio. He's anxiously awaiting his turn to come and share some information with you. As usual, we have lots and lots of stuff to unpack today, to analyze, and to make sure that you're well informed about what is going on. I know it is not finding favor in certain quarters. They don't want people to know the truth, but we're going to come and we're going to give you the truth. And this day, Wednesday, beautiful day, another day that the Lord has made, we must rejoice and be glad in it. And we must give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. And I'm giving praise and I'm giving thanks for being in the land of the living. I'm giving praise and giving thanks for having all you students here this morning in the schoolyard as early as 7:30, just when the program was scheduled. People came in their numbers. I have some disappointing news to you again this morning because of some technical issues. The first 34 persons on the chat were removed. I have a record, so you're going to be mentioned. The first 34. As I've said, I have some challenges with one of this, the machines, the computer they use. It's charging now and again, it ain't charging. The light on say that it's charging, but the number, the end going up. I have some issues with it, so I have to think about replacing it very soon. I know some persons have made offers, which are gladly accepted to make sure that we can come and we can give you the information. Technical challenges or not, we are going to be here to give you the information. We are going to find some way to continue to bring valid, credible, reliable information to you. So yes, share the live, let people know that we're on, give us the thumbs up. We have hundreds and hundreds of students in the classroom. Last Monday, 2 days ago, we had the program, and when I looked at the platform this morning, over on YouTube alone, over 10,000 persons have viewed Monday's program. And when you combine the YouTube and Facebook, those are the two platforms we use, is well over about 30,000 persons have viewed. So the interest is there, and we will continue to bring the information to you. So don't be bothered. Whatever challenges we have, we're going to make sure that we overcome them so that we can bring the information to you. As I've said, share the live this morning. We're going to do the usual thing. We're going to do the announcements. We're going to do the roll call, and we're going to give you the information. As I've said, the program was scheduled about 7:30 this morning, and because, as I said, people say, I'm titivating, forget this thing working right. And then I realized that the first 34 persons who were there this morning from early at 7:30, they were struck off the chat list. I can't figure out up to now how that works, because what happens once this program is scheduled, people who are there early, they come on. But if for any reason you have to leave the studio and come back in, many times those ones who were there early are removed. It has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with the platform. So I have grown accustomed to that. So what I do, I make notes of those who are there early, so that even when you are struck off from the comments list, I have a record of those who were there. And let me start with the roll call to tell you that the person who was first here this morning, the man from the hills, he came in with two others. So the people who came on at 7:30 were Barlett from Linden, Tessa from Florida, and Bert Barnett. They came in at 7:30. They were followed by Sherwin, Francis Keith. Then we had Good Music 284 came in at 7:35. Akko Gonzalez, Evelina Whitaker. Maureen came in at 7:37. Kevin. Then we have Patricia Wren. There are more than one Patricias. Patricia Wren came in at 7:39. Wayne from the UK, Wayne Liddell, came in at 7:43. Wenda came in at 7:43 as well. Aileen, our female cricket umpire, she came in at 7:43 too. Then we have the original black man. I want you to reach out. Give me your number. I want your number. I want to have a chat with you, original black man. So send me your number. Then we have Randolph Jr., 12538. He came in there. Then we had Kerry Glasgow out of Maryland. Then it was Magnell Barrow, Rhonda Chance, Brian Saul from Brooklyn. Then it was Denise Moore from Florida, Barbara Barrington, Derek McCalman, 7854. Old police from Mounted Branch came in. He came in at 808. Then it was Jacqueline Clark, David Austin, Winston Kilkenny from California. Then we had Duane, Stephen Lewis, Raul George, Ethel. All these people are not reflected in the chat now. Then it was Clive Nestor from the UK, Wayne Kesnew, Ian Mentor, and then you will see those persons that I just called were removed from the chat. So the first person we have here on the chat is Earl, then it is Emerson, Patricia, and this is Patricia Zandi from New Jersey, Debbie from Providence on the East Bank, Ronald, Abera 1111, Mary from Brooklyn, Vernon is here, and this is Vernon Beckles, Floyd from Brooklyn. Then we have, I think it's Linda Wharton. And then from Linden again, we have Daniel. Then it was from Arizona, Carl, Marcia, out of New Jersey, Courtney, Danny from Brooklyn, Cecile, Mia, Charles, good morning. Buxton, good to see you back in the States. Hope they didn't prevent you or didn't harass you when you were attempting to travel back. Then my squad mate from Canada, Doreen. Then it was Siobhan. And then we have Colin. Colin is from New Jersey. His number, he says, was 10569. I always like to see when these ex-police, or you say older police, put their regulation number so we can see what era they were in the force. Then we have Mr. G. Incidentally, to let you know, my number was 9549. So I'm proud of that. 9549. That was my regulation number. Joined on the 1st of March, 1974. Before that, I was a special constable. Let's see. 2680. Let's see. I spent a lot of time at Sparndam Police Station as a special constable. Then we have Canali. Then it was Peter, Oswald, Tilula, Nigel. My friend Kevin Adonis is here with us. Vibert, the man from the East Bank. Trevor. Then it was Barbara. Barbara, welcome. And Barbara tell you, you're here. You wait till your turn and we must hurry up. You're being rude. You're being disrespectful. We're going to give you a charge sheet. Conduct to the prejudice of good order and discipline, contrary to Section 4Z or Z of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701. I know them sections good, you know. I know them good. Then we have Morris here, 4766. He said he was there at the TSU section. I was a B section rank, and then I became in charge of B section under Sergeant Young. He's referring to Rupert Young. 6304 was his regulation number. We used to call it Appy Young, Rupert Appy Young. Then Ann is here, Andre, Karen. Then the man from Texas, Everett, Kay came in next. And Rohan, 12863 is here. Cranston. Then Colin, L. Ben. Ben is here. We have a Ben. Ras Ricardo. And Ras Ricardo came in at 10:02. And he said he's in the schoolyard early. Well, Ras Ricardo, remember, people were here since 7:30, so it's early because that is relative. But I just want you to know that many, many students were in the class schoolyard before you. Then Devian was here, Dwayne, Lorraine, Farina. Welcome, Farina Han. Then it is Monica, George, Floyd, Moses, Pamela from West Dem is here. Chilo came in at 10:30. Then we have Derek McCalmont East from St. Kitts. He said St. Kitts Nevis in the school. Welcome, my brother from St. Kitts, Johnny. Then we have Walterine. Then it was Morris. After Morris, it was Kurt. Then Orville. Orville say talk about the promotion list. We're going to discuss it a little later. Then we had O'Neill, and then Michael Brower, 14126 Brower, from the island there. There it was Paul, waiting for the button to start. Bowling to, is the only button. Bowling, pace like fire. Pace like fire. Then we have Claremont, Ovid. Ovid says his number was 0937. Gordon, 6659 from Canada. Then we have Rhonda from from Denham, still in the house. Mark is here. Then it is Thomas Brown. And then we have Sharon from the UK. Lyndon Johnson, my good friend, Cornbread Johnson, old police rank, special branch rank, and all of that. I remember, comrade, I remember our days in Sophia, back in, that was what year, 1975, I think it was. Then we have Marva is here, Allison, Annette, William, and then William was the last person in the schoolyard when the school door was open. We had Edward. Edward is always one of the first students on Facebook. Edward is here. He was followed by Lennox. And then Shalan, Alti is here. Simone, Elvis, Brandy. Then it was O'Malley. And then we have Danny, my namesake, Danny Slow. Then we have Petal, W385, I think it was. Yeah, I think so. I remember some of these numbers well, you know. And it goes on and on and on. It goes on. Let me make some announcements, and then I'm going to bring in CC. You know, we like to start with the sad announcements. And this is not really, this is just a reminder because we spoke about this already. Rigby, Anthony Rigby, Mark Anthony Rigby, 12769, retired corporal cricketer. He passed away, I think it was on the July 11th, and the funeral is on Friday. This Friday the 26th. And they say the viewing at Sandy's Funeral Home from 1 p.m. and then the funeral service at the same location from 2 to 3, and then burial will take place at La Pentiere Cemetery. So we're making the announcements again because I know lots of cricketers, lots of former policemen would like to go there and pay their last respects to riggers. Pay their last respect to riggers. And then we have a death of Dwayne Andrew Bowen. I mean, Dwayne is not, I don't know if he's on the program, but he is the son of a regular Princess Earl. Princess Earl, who is a regular on this program, or she was a member of the force, Special Constabulary Regulation number 6123. Her son passed away recently, and the funeral is also on Friday the 26th. So viewing at the Lykill Funeral Home from 12:30 to 1:30, and then burial will take place at Bachelor's Adventure. So yes, we have those deaths that we announced in the funeral arrangement. Again, I want to express condolences to the relatives, friends, and family members of the of those persons, Anthony Rigby and Andrew Bowen. So that is the sad announcement. In terms of the happier ones, birthday. Today is the birthday of a regular in the program, Neville Kisoon. Neville's birthday is today, and I want to wish him all the best. And then we have birthday greetings, belated birthday greetings to veteran journalist Enrico Wolford. Enrico had a birthday yesterday, and all the best to you, my brother. Also, Kim Allison, who is a regular in this program, she had a birthday recently. Today is a special day in the family, the Slow family. Uncle Ivan Slow. Those of you from BV and so on, Uncle Ivan from Sideline Dam, Terry and all his children. Uncle Ivan is celebrated his 94th birthday yesterday. 94. Good genes. We get good genes. So all of them who come in for stress you out to make sure that you can't come in and do the program, we get good genes. Uncle Ivan, they say there's Carly Ivan, but I think his correct name is Ivan Slow, celebrated his 94th birthday yesterday. Batan, cousin Ivan, Batan. And to all those who are celebrating today, who celebrated recently, I want to wish you all the best. And we got some birthday coming up, Smithy, I know that you coming up shortly. And something wrong, Smithy, I can find you. Because when you look at the number you posted, your regulation number, you put 7463. I know it's a slip of the finger. I know it's a slip of the finger. So Smithy has a birthday on Friday. My squad mate 9370 Wayne Amsterdam also has a birthday on Friday. And let me preempt CC. Let me preempt CC to tell you all that I am celebrating 1-2 on Saturday coming. God's spare life, because one never knows what is going to happen. So we have some upcoming birthdays and some birthdays that have passed and birthday today. All the best to the celebrants. Let me at this stage, what more should I do? Well, for the longest while we didn't talk about cricket, and it was deliberate because the damn thing is so depressing. Imagine West Indies put up such a good show in the first half of the game. It's called test match. You got to battle for all the days. England 4-16, West Indies had a lead on the first innings. England went there and gave them a thing, and then they crumbled from 60 without loss, all out 440 something. So it's very, very depressing. Very, very depressing. I know Aileen and Jakey and all of those cricketers, Ulrich, CC, I know when these things happen, y'all are stressed out. Not me. That thing can't stress me out. I take it in the strides. Let me bring in CC for his opening remarks, and then we're going to move on. CC, welcome, my brother. Welcome.
Morning, and thank you. I'm happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. I want to hail out to Aileen because I was downtown, I think, sometime last week, and I heard somebody CC. And when I watched, I didn't know the person came across to me, and that was the umpire. It was so nice to meet her, and have a nice little chat. So hail out to her. And you're talking about numbers, I need to give me a number too, because when I joined on the 2nd of April 1973, first station after 3 months, they sent us for election. And I went to Myconi, and I remember Vibert Smith, 7464 Smith, and I'd wanted to go on an operation with them in the Myconi Creek, I think was Mora Point. And then by saying, no, you can't come in this boat by you number 2 heavy. If you fall overboard, the boat going to dock, or you go make the boat dock with a big number that you got, But I live to see bigger numbers, including 95 something. So so that is for my opening remarks.
Yeah. Well, you got to tell them you was 1927, 1927 Conway. I remember that. And yeah, we used to laugh people, We used to laugh people, get them number where I come here and say, buy the big number, 9549. If you fall overboard with the uniform, you got drunk. They should laugh you now. They're there for 20 something, enough. Number like you call it like telephone number. Yeah, so that's what we have. Now let me start off by telling you, I omitted to tell you on Monday that I had an appointment with the court, the magistrate court, on yesterday's date, scheduled for 10 o'clock. Remember, I had indicated to you that the acting chief magistrate, and the last time I appeared, had said that the matter is going to be put off for whoever other magistrate is going to take over that position, because she didn't, but the Attorney General and all these people had said that the then acting chief magistrate was tipped to be a judge. Well, she has since been sworn in as a judge. And yesterday, I waited, because it was 10 o'clock. I made sure I was online, and I did not hear anything. And then later, my lawyer advised that the matter was not called because the magistrates are on some type of training, and the new date will be communicated at a later date. Look, this thing is so frustrating, but I'm not going to lose faith. This is a matter, and the matter I'm referring to is the 3 trumped-up sexual assault charges that were given to me on the 19th of May, 2021. These charges were instituted on the 19th of May, 2021, along with other trumped-up charges of conspiracy to commit fraud. 19th of May, 2021, right? And then today is the 24th day of July. And according to this morning, it has been 3 years, 156 days since the charges were instituted. Can't get justice yet. And here this too, the allegations were that these incidents took place in March, on the 26th and 29th of March and the 2nd of April, 2019. So it has been over 5 years. Over 5 years since this thing is alleged to have occurred. over 3 years, 156 days to be exact, since charge, and up to now, up to now. And you know, they said justice delayed is justice denied. But I'm not losing faith. I am not losing faith. I know that I'm innocent, and I'm waiting for the opportunity to vindicate my name. And you know, now that they have, I know they had issues with the number of magistrates and the number of judges, and the undue delay in the determination of these matters. Long delays. And let me say this, part of the delay, apart from the shortage of magistrates and judges, is the fact that the DPP is sending cases to the court where there's absolutely no evidence. The magistrate on the 27th of December, in ruling in our conspiracy to commit fraud case, Mr. Conway will tell you, said that there was not an iota of evidence, not an iota of evidence. Politically motivated, trumped up charges. The lawyer, one of our defense lawyers, Mr. Dexter Todd, remarked that he cannot understand how people with legal training, he was referring to people in the DPP's chamber, will look at that file and decide that a charge should be proceeded with. That is what is there. So that too is contributing to the delay. Matters are passing through the DPP. Police send file to the DPP. The DPP recommend charge. When they go to the court, charges are at no case submission, they're gone. In other words, they never had any evidence. And you're clogging up the court with matters that should never reach there. So that is resulting in the delay as well. But as I've said, 3 years, 156 days and counting, and I am going to sit back and I'm going to wait for the time to come to vindicate my name. Well, it's very, very time consuming. It's very costly. It is very frustrating. Let me understand that. So that is an update. As I said, I don't know when is the new date, because the lawyer advised me that the clerk for the magistrate will indicate at some subsequent time when is the date. And here, let me tell you, we are talking about a date here, as far as I understand, not for trial, for report, because the matter was referred from the then acting chief magistrate to some other magistrate for a report. So we're going to go there on that day. Maybe they're going to set what is case management, or when date to come, how many days. That is what is going to happen. So it's not a case where I expect at the next communication they're going to say, well, the trial will start on such and such a date, right? I expect they're going to tell you, well, case management at some date down the road to be given. That is what is going on in this country called Guyana. That is what. And before I bring in Mr. Conway, I want to remark, I make a note here, and it's about accountability. Accountability, something that is absent in Guyana. Accountability. When you talk, they get the Volkswagen is EC, it, him, or thing, whatever it is. They just come and just write a lot of crap, right? They can't face up to facts. Facts are stubborn things. And I talk about accountability, which does not exist in Guyana. And I'm making reference here to the US, where it was reported, I think it was yesterday, that the director of the United States Secret Service, the Secret Service is, among other things, they are responsible for protecting presidents and certain people, over the shooting incident that involved the former President Trump. I understand that the director was called before Congress yesterday and was roasted by both sides of the aisles. And she resigned yesterday. She resigned. She wasn't there on duty. She wasn't at this place where the shooting took place. But that is what you call accountability. You are the head of the organization, and there was a failure like that, and therefore you got to show yourself on your sword. But in Guyana, we have nothing like accountability. Nothing. People are allowed to proceed and leave, big allegation against them, and they do all sorts of misdeed, allowed to proceed and leave. Like the case of Damlal, who was accused of rape, buggery, and grooming. He allowed to proceed and leave, right? Then you have, remember, Brutus, allegation of financial impropriety. He is allowed, according to them. I know different. We know different. He wasn't allowed to proceed and leave. He was sent and leave. But they said that he's allowed to proceed and leave to facilitate an investigation. Then you have people, when they're sent and leave, they move to other areas. Recall May Thomas, the former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, pulled in the U.S. detained for hours, visa uncuffed, I understand, visa revoked, had to return to a circuitous thing. What happened? She's moved from Home Affairs to the Ministry of Labor. Yeah, move, a lateral movement from one ministry to the other ministry. No accountability. We had a case with another permanent secretary, Sharon Hicks, from the Ministry of Marine Affairs. Sting operation. Police mounted a sting operation because a man went to the police and alleged that she was demanding $200,000 for him to continue to get security contract. Police marked the money, give the man gave her the money. She's caught with the marked money, got before the court, she was charged, got before the court, and the man is allowed to say that he don't want the matter to proceed any further. Right? No accountability. I don't know where she is now. I suspect she's somewhere drawing big money again. Then you had other matters, like, for example, who can forget not so long ago, some accounting error where among the 214 million US dollars was suddenly reduced to 3 million. And what happened? The person who was responsible, they said, was fined, I think, 15 days pay. Imagine that, 200 million or 211 or something like that. At 214 moved to 3. So it's a difference of 211. And the man is made to pay 15 days pay, something like that he's made to pay. Ridiculous. And so no accountability. We have also the other incidents, but in the US, where the rule of law prevails, the director of the Secret Service, who was ultimately responsible for the actions of the ranks on the ground, had to resign because of their failure to adequately protect former President Trump. That is what you call accountability. That is what obtains in a society governed by the rule of law. Governed by the rule of law. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. Cece, comment on the court matter, comment on the resignation of the director of the Secret Service.
Okay, I know you're concerned about your matter, where the allegations made by, I don't call him because it's public knowledge, that Superintendent Kendall, who they recently recommended to become a senior superintendent, whilst we were reviewing the standing order, the same standing order, they said we didn't review, that you rub her legs 3 times. Why is it up to now, after so many years, a superintendent can't go in the box and say what happened, and say that you rub your legs and then be subject to cross-examinations and other issues? But there's how things going in Ghana. I remember a case, 3 years, and it finished at no case submission. 26 persons testified. 26 persons testify. I can't say they give evidence from the person from the police finance office, the Ministry of Affairs, and the Ministry of Finance. And according to the magistrate, they didn't have they didn't have any evidence, none whatsoever, to convict us. And they testify and nothing at all. 26 witnesses, and those from Suku, they didn't testify. They testified. And I watched part of the congressional hearing, in relation to that shooting of former President Trump. And amazing that they show the other water tank there that given nearby, that would give you a 360 degrees view of the place there. And an amazing, they didn't have a sniper there. They didn't have no secret agent there. And there were so many major lapses that came out of that congressional hearing, that the head of the security service had a right to bow out gracefully. Perhaps she has collected or whatsoever she's entitled for and go along the way. But here in Guyana, people doing the guards, as we say, and nothing is being done. But Paul, you will eventually have your day in court. And I'm sure that case would finish at no case submission. Right, they can't go further than that, unless they do a Nandalal.
Yeah, well, let me say, there are a lot of things that I can't comment on because the matter is sub judice, the matter is before the court. So I can only say things that are there, basically public knowledge. But that's the allegation, as Mr. Conway indicated. Um, Charged on the 19th of May, 2021. And today, we're talking about 3 years, 156 days. And up to now, we can't get to even a trial stage. Imagine that, yeah, and 26 witnesses. 26 witnesses. The decision was handed down, the decision was handed down on the 27th of December, where the magistrate upheld the no case submission by the defense counsels and said, have the ruling there, have the ruling. And the magistrate said that there was not an iota of evidence against us, the defendants, because we were charged for conspiracy to commit fraud, in that we, like, basically, let's say we give yourself a job to review the police force standing order, and we didn't do this, we didn't review the standing order. That is basically what it said. We collected, the five of us collected 10,056,000 dollars, I think was the figure. The 10 of us. And other people were charged. Police ranks were charged. We were former police officers, myself, Mr. Conway, Mark Gilbert, Ivla Whitaker, and George Fraser. The five of us were called and asked to assist in putting together or in reviewing the standing order. We worked diligently 2 days a week, and we worked. And they decided that they were going to give us a stipend. We didn't ask for anything. They decided. And then when they wanted to get me and Conway off of the Police Service Commission, at the end of 2020, when the president wanted his people promoted, including Brutus. And we said, no, the rules do not permit because they are pending disciplinary matters. And they came after me viciously, not only me, others as well. Police officers charged for in the conspiracy with us, charged for dereliction of duty and all sorts of things because they wanted to get at me. I was the main target. But I will tell them, and I will continue to say, they cannot stop me from speaking the truth. Only Jehovah, only God can stop me from speaking the truth. Only the grave will stop me from speaking the truth. And I know they get plans to try to send me there early, but God is in charge. And as we say before, karma is a bitch. Ingratitude is worse than witchcraft, and we are seeing evidence of that already, and more to come. I always said they planned. They sat at a bar on the East Coast. They were at a bar on the East Coast. I get my sources, and they decide that Slow got to be a next Crummy Wing. In other words, remember the assassinated Crummy Wing in Diamond, right? And Kwame McCoy was questioned in respect to the matter, and they said that the Attorney General to the was asked question, or his driver or somebody. So those things were there, but they said they can make Slow the next Crummy Wing. But I have no fear of that. And the reason why I'm not afraid, and let me tell you all of this, the reason why I'm not afraid is because all of us have to die one day. All of us, notwithstanding how they operate, thieving millions and millions of dollars, they're operating as if they will never die, or if they're going to take that money with them. That is the way they operate. But I know, as a child of God, that I have to die one day. I am blessed so far. On Saturday, I tell you all early, on Saturday, God's spared life, I'll be celebrating my 69th birthday. And again, thanks to the Lord, I enjoy good health, my brain working properly, and I enjoy the life, notwithstanding what the thing, he, she, it, the thing said in a note recently. You know, just get me information. I am inundated with information. I don't come and bring you all because I got to make sure nobody is setting me up. I have to make sure that these things are verified. The thing, the Volkswagen, he, she, it, the thing. Telling somebody the other day, let me read what it said. You are like the two who own everything, thanks to the guy in the police force, who are now spending the rest of their miserable lives trying to bring down an organization that made them relevant in the first place. That is what somebody tell me the thing said. It, she, it, they, thing, Volkswagen. That is what they say. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Indeed, I have a lot to be thankful for the police force, but not the police force. Honestly, I conducted myself in the police force. A lot of them in there, they are using their power and their authority to enrich themselves. That's what they're doing. They are preying, preying, on innocent people to enrich themselves. Nobody can accuse me of that. Nobody can accuse me of that. And in terms of everything, when I went to university in the early 90s, I started off when it was free education. Then the government changed in 1992, and then to complete my degree, I had to pay. I pay out of my pocket thing, right? I paid out of my pocket. I was able to complete paying off all my student loan. All my student loan before I retired from the force, I pay off my student loan. So I pay, forget some of the education that I have. And in terms about making the organization making me relevant, I made myself relevant by the way I conducted myself. Enough of them are there in the organization and they are not relevant. They are corrupt. They are dishonest. And the evidence is coming out daily. Check social media, what is happening now. Every day is a new allegation about some form of corruption or impropriety, as they call it, financial impropriety. Financial impropriety is a euphemism for thieving. In other words, fancy word for thieving, the thieving the police stuff. And we're going to talk more about that as we go on. But let me bring in Mr. Conway, because when the thing spoke about the two who owed everything they owned to the Guyana Police Force and who are now spending the rest of their miserable lives trying to bring down the organization that made them relevant. We are spending the rest of our miserable lives to identify and highlight corruption. And I am proud of that. You are spending the rest of your miserable days Dharam Lalin and being Dharam Lal. You are Dharam Lalin and being Dharam Lal. Come, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. My mother told me some time ago, I just always tell you all that. Mother tell me, be careful of Lil Boy, dog, and the other category. Boy can take on any one of them. The dog, the Lil Boy, or the other category, I can take them on. I am not afraid. And the reason I say again why I'm not afraid of speaking the truth, because it's only the grave can stop me from doing that. And that date is going to be determined by the Almighty, not you, the thing, or them who planning in the bar on the East Coast to out me light and all. No, that is not going to do it. Jehovah is the person to do it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway before we move on. Yes, CC.
Yeah, I got to talk, although I don't want to really engage that thing that is weak down the leg side. But then we talking about them doing investigation. That they should investigate whether or not the police been paying that thing that is big down the leg side money to do PR work for them. And they should also investigate whether or not the thing that is big down the leg side get contracts to do work at police headquarters. Get contract to do work at police headquarters, and they had no bidding. So the thing also should be properly investigated in this finance, in this thieving thing what they're doing.
Let me say this. Apart from the allegation that contracts, and we talk about contract to do construction work. That's my information. Construction work contract given to the thing, no bidding and all of that. I also understand, and rather than he, she, it, the thing taking on these two geriatrics, you should also deal with this $5 million what you get from the sanctioned parties for build your studio. I got the information, So you can't talk, can't write against certain people and certain things. You can't, because you are compromised. Not only compromised in terms of receiving money and receiving contract, but compromised in terms of Alice Belfont, what the song name, man? Alice forget. Da 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 da. Why not bend over? Wine and bend over. You know the tune? Yeah, that tune. Wine and bend over. Right? That is what is going on. So come on, come again, come, come. People like, and maybe you should take some of the time for learn for right, yeah? Take some of the time to, don't you say left hand drive? It's not all left hand drive because in America you get left hand drive car. We're talking about Volkswagen. Volkswagen, the older people know the unique nature of a Volkswagen is that when all the other brands of cars had the engine in front, a Volkswagen engine was at the back. The Volkswagen vehicle back in the days, the Volkswagen the engine was at the back. So when you talk about Volkswagen, you figure out what we're talking about. Now, let me move on. Again, oh my Lord, giant services in the news again for the wrong reasons. We had not so long ago a policeman caught with 9 point something or some large amount of marijuana on the East Bank. Report in the media, he was charged and remanded. Then shortly after, two senior non-commissioned officers from the GDF were caught with a large quantity of marijuana. They were arrested, charged. I understand two from the news. They too were remanded. Now, today it has been reported. Let me read it. Today it has been reported a fire service officer, like it's a competition, you know, competition of fire serving officer caught with illegal liquor, and the minister condemns the action. And what the man had? The man had 24 bottles of NSC, 24 bottles of Johnny Walker Black, 10 bottles of Johnny Walker Gold, 24 fireballs, I know that is one, and 48 Absolute, and 12 bottles of Ciroc. Well, Ciroc is one of my favorite vodka, Ciroc pineapple, I love it, and a little bit of ice and so on. So, and maybe you can give me one for my birthday. I can send out message to all station for officers to contribute $25,000, for inspectors to contribute 20, and for station sergeants and people in charge of patrol and so on for the 15. So maybe the fireman or somebody can give me a bottle of Ciroc pineapple for my birthday on Saturday. That is what is going on. And the minister condemns action. Again, we say, if you are operating in a place where there is accountability with all that is going on under the minister, the police force, the fire service, prison service, all that is going on, the minister would have been made to resign. But you know, you got a rule of law in Guyana. I got a rule of law. Wild West is like in the early frontier days in the US. Anything goes. Any and everything goes. The man got a whole set of whiskey. And it reminds us of a police officer some years ago. The man had, I think, 40-something cases of whiskey. He bring in the smuggling. And the bottom line is, all over is hustle. Monkey see, monkey do. So if them big man hustle, police senior officers are left to be hustling. So we got to hustle too. That is exactly what is going on. Everybody hustling. So you get police caught with drugs, GDF ranks caught with drugs, now fire service, not to be left out, fire service caught with a large quantity of alcohol, smuggled alcohol. That is how we have. Let me bring you Mr. Conway, man. CC, fire service and taking left.
Well, monkey see, monkey do, and it's all under Ben. You know, we used to say, I read a book, and I think I saw the film, Fear is the Key. I think it was Alistair McLean. That is no fear. You know, in our days as Commander Paul, you know that we ranks are fighting for do anything. By we can't do nothing. By this commander is a serious man. This man don't make joke, put us before the court, you know, and this kind of thing. That the fear isn't there. That hey, and if you get caught, you can get off lightly. Even with the fire service here, they're hustling for charge on those under some public service rule. They quoted some section there. Why you don't face the custom act? Yeah, if it's a breach of the custom act, which is a more serious offense and which carry more serious penalty, yeah, you padding down. You want charge you on under the civil service rule, you know. And you know, so many things happen, and all the things happen, and then is the man responsible? Is his ministry? and he got to be accountable. I wonder if you read what the head of the Secret Service did. You know, he should bow out a long time ago. And all these things happening because they're not taking swift, certain, and appropriate action when ranks commit themselves. They allow things to shoot on the cap. And even criminally, with Damlal and all of them, they are not taking any proper action, swift, certain, and appropriate. So things will continue. It's business as usual. Business as usual.
Yeah, but you are not but talking about the ministry too. I mean, you're talking about Dharam Lali, but you are right under the nose of the minister, the permanent secretary, according to the United States the Treasury Department, collecting bribes, collecting I gifts right under the minister's nose. And when the thing was revealed, what happened? She was moved from one ministry to a next ministry, a lateral movement, PS Home Affairs to PS Ministry of Labor. So they're not taking any action. And that would have, if you wanted to say that you are the rule of law, those things would have necessitated the removal or the resignation of the minister, those and others, things piling up in that ministry, and he talking all sort of crap as he usually does. So, and again, I am not afraid to speak the truth. I am not. I am not afraid to speak the truth. So you have that. And the minister there, imagine the minister at the symposium last week can talk about an old massive corruption in procurement and all of this thing in the police force. He can't realize that the police force is under him, that he is the subject minister responsible for the police force. And he went publicly and crying out about corruption and issues with invoices and all of these things. And I have to remind people that if they have corruption in the procurement process in the police force, the Ministry of Home Affairs, that Mr. Ben heads, is responsible for expenditure, capital and current. They are responsible, so you can't remove yourself, you can't divorce yourself from what is going on below you. If you're incompetent and these things are going on, when they are revealed, you should move on. Because nobody don't get sent home in thing, you know. So the president will not intervene to say, well, take your leave. He will not. Ben will have to make a request to proceed on leave. That is how it goes. Darmlal story, Brutus, and perhaps others. They have to make a request to go on leave to facilitate investigation. That is how the country is running. And some people say like a cake shop, worse than a cake shop, because cake shops are run far better. Cake shops, many cake shops are run far better than that. But let me move on to the next issue. This thing sweet in Guyana. We also mentioned it since Monday, but time ran out. I'm referring here to these letter writings. You know, back. Let me read. The Enrico Wolford, experienced journalist, respected journalist, Enrico Wolford, who had a birthday yesterday, made a statement on social media. Let me read what Enrico Wolford said. Guyana's Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, was met, escorted off, and questioned by federal agent at JFK Airport last night, July the 11th, 2024. It is unclear why those particular investigating officers and not the usual diplomatic protocol officers would meet and escort Guyana's Minister of Natural Resources. That is what he said. And of course, Enrico engaged attorney UC Anderson, and the man gave a clinical response. A clinical response. I get a whole response. I'll read the last part of the man said, and of course, after Enrico said that, the minister got Sanjeev Datarin, a lawyer and a PPP member of parliament, to write to Enrico and threatened legal action. Said that the statement was defamatory, that the minister was never detained. Enrico never said that he was detained. Never said he was detained. And that he demanded a retraction, he demanded an apology, and he demanded monetary damage I think by the 14th of July, those demands were made in writing. And Enrico got UC Anderson, he retained UC Anderson, and he wrote a response. So let me tell you the last part of the response. It says a critical response. And the last part, I said, there will be no retraction, apology, or compensatory damages or payment of any legal fees as requested to your client or any of his attorney by 14th of July or ever. No payment on the 14th of July or ever. And then what happened? A tape circulated, there's a video on social media, where the minister was being escorted, as claimed by Enrico, as he left the plane. I think it was three of them. One somebody at uniform, and he was flanked by two men in plain clothes and so on. That is what happened. But then the liar wrote, and they inserted the word detained. If you check Enrico's statement, Enrico never said he was detained. He said he was escorted. He was questioned. The minister, I understand, admitted that he was questioned. He said if you look questioning about the sanctions against the Mohammeds, whether it was light-hearted, whether it was serious question, he was questioning that he was admitted. He was escorted. He's walking there and two men flanking him and one behind. That is an escort. So let's see. I haven't heard anything further whether the threatened legal action has been taken. But then lo and behold, this thing sweet bad, you know. Yeah, Carl, that is what Enrico Liar actually told the Dartadin and Bob, go and shove it. They don't tell you where to shove it, but they say shove it where, they didn't say that, I'm saying this, where the sun don't shine. And before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me tell you about another letter now. The audacity of these people. The audacity. This is a letter. It is undated, but it is from Rexford Jackson, attorney at law, Rayon Doris, attorney at law, to Mr. Travis Chase, HGP TV Nightly News, 1 Republic Drive, Triumph, East Coast, Demerara. Read defamatory conduct. Dear sir, the caption refers, I have been consulted and retained by Mr. Calvin Brutus, attorney at law and assistant commissioner of police, Guyana Police Force. Well, I thought he was acting deputy commissioner, but the lawyer said assistant commissioner of the Guyana Police Force. I am instructed that on Thursday, 11th of July, 2024, you made the following statement or your nightly news, and they're quoting here now. HGP Nightly News. And here what they're saying, this is a quotation, a high-ranking police officer has deposited tens of millions of dollars into the Guyana Police Force Credit Union account, and Clifton Ikin, who is performing the function of the police commissioner, has denied the transaction ever happened. Nightly News has records to prove that the assistant police commissioner deposited the money and it was later returned to him. The official credit union documents below documents show $60.5 million was allegedly deposited into the COPS credit union account on December 15, 2023. Documents also show that the source of the funds was stated as wedding gifts prior, during, and after receipt. Records also show that on the 16th of December 2023, this transaction was canceled. Cash payment transaction was canceled, and money in the sum of $16.5 million returned to the member on the 16th of December 2023. However, the original receipt was not returned to the police credit union. End of quote. That is what Travis Chase wrote. Then the lawyer goes on to say, there is no evidential basis for the statement, the content of which are not only libelous, but also clearly imputes that my client has engaged in illicit activities and is wholly unfit to hold public office. Consequently, my client's reputation has been severely injured. He has been subjected to public odium, ridicule, and embarrassment. In the circumstances, I am instructed to demand that you issue an apology, retract the publication, and immediately cease and desist from repeating the same or similar statements in this regard. I am instructed to institute legal proceedings against you for damages without any further notice if you fail to accede to my client's request within 1 day of your receipt of this correspondence. Be guided accordingly. Signed, Rexford Jackson, attorney at law. Now, another clinical response. Ken Lang, so I'm going to read the whole response from the same attorney, Mr. U.C. Anderson. And this response is dated the 22nd day of July 2024. It's addressed to Rexford Jackson, attorney at law, 95 Atfield Street, Working Rush, Georgetown, Guyana. And it says, Dear Senior, defamatory conduct. I write pursuant to the matter at caption. Our chambers has been retained by Travis Chase to represent his interest hearing. Might I record that your demands of action 1 day after receipt of your letter on the subject at caption encountered the obstacle of me being retained 6 days after the period expired. That being said, your client was not named in the publication to which you refer. Further, the individual referred to in the said publication was referred to as a high-ranking police officer, of which the Guyana Police Force has many. The other unique identifier is that he was a male and wore the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, of which the Guyana Police Force has no less than 9 sitting male Assistant Commissioners of Police. Rather uncannily, it is your letter, the Guyana Police Force press release, naming Calvin Brutus and the 3 to 5 other media houses that named your client, which accumulatively identified him identified him beyond doubt. My client did not publish, suggest, or name your client as alleged. In footballing terms, we describe your letter as an own goal. Consequently, no apology will be issued, nor will the publication be retracted. Further, notice is taken of your instructions to institute legal proceedings. I must inform you that my client has instructed me to produce the relevant evidence to substantiate all the claims made therein if litigation should ensue. And here the sweetest part of the letter to me. Accept on my behalf and that of my clients hearty congratulations to your clients on his nuptials. Oh la la! Hearty congratulations to your client on his nuptials. Hearty congratulations to your client on his marriage. Break it down, on his marriage. Because he said in the correspondence I saw that was circulating that the $16.5 million that was deposited in the credit union and returned was monies from gifts before, during, and after his wedding reception, which took place sometime last year. So let me see where they're going to go. He never sue, he sue me, Brutus sue me for defamation of character. The matter was dismissed, and I understand that he appealed. So we're waiting to see what will happen. I'm telling you all, karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. Ingratitude is worse than witchcraft. Touch not the Lord's anointed. I'm warning them. I'm warning them. We're going to sit back and we're going to see the fall of the people who thought they were mighty. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. I can't take all of this, but see the thing sweet. What are your views on these letters, my brother?
Before the letters, let me make an observation. Sometimes we need to observe things. I see you're displaying gold chain around your neck, and the cheeky look a little goldish. You want to be careful because the minister might say that you could be bought, or people might already buy you out. But I read those letters,
Hold on. Before you go, you're talking about the gold chain around my neck. I got this gold chain a long time. And if you're going to talk about bought out, no gold chain can't buy me out. Nothing can buy me out. And you must look to see Bishop Edgil and other people in his cabinet, who I'm called cabinet colleagues, who wearing gold too. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I read those letters, and I have copies of them, very, very surgical. I love them. And Brutus and his lawyers failed miserably because the idea was they want to shut down Travis Chase and those who were going to talk about the story. But I believe in Travis Chase, and I know that what we saying is true, and he didn't mention no name, no Brutus, no nothing. But the force mentioned Brutus, and Brutus himself say he want investigation. So where is it for you're saying for two people, that he want to silence people? He can't silence nobody. He can't silence me, and he can't silence you. Don't mind what legal step they want to take. The truth will have to prevail. The truth will have to prevail, Paul.
And when you look at the thing, as you said, Travis, one of the more reliable journalists in Guyana, along with Gordon Mosley, Enrico Wilford, when these people say things, they research what they say. There are others too. There are others. But I know those two, Travis Gordon from News Source, and I tell you, I'll always make the difference between News Source, which is Gordon Mosley, and Newsroom, which is one of the propaganda arm of the government. I'd be like, Enrico, they're not going to go and write things that they have not verified. So when I see them writing things, I tend to believe what they wrote. And as was pointed out in the response, no name was mentioned. Travis had mentioned no name. So, it's a case where, as Bob Marley sang, who the cap fit, let them wear it. Obviously, the cap fit. Brutus, he decided to engage a lawyer. But I cannot understand, for the life of me, how someone who is legally trained can look at the release given by Travis Chase and even the one by Enrico Wilford and come to the conclusion that the thing is defamatory. The evidence in the Vikram Bharat case, the video is there that he was being escorted. He himself, by his own statement, actually confirmed some of the things said by Enrico. And then the lawyer came out later, and the lawyer said, well, Bharat enjoys diplomatic immunity. Not so. Not so. He might have been traveling on a diplomatic passport, but that does not accord you diplomatic immunity necessarily. And let me tell you this, some of you might not know, but I worked with the United Nations in Namibia. I led a contingent of policemen from Guyana. The other policemen from the Caribbean, from Jamaica and Barbados. We were there with the United Nations Transition Assistance Group, 1989-1990, as Namibia, Southwest Africa, as it was then known, was moving towards independence. And therefore, during that period, we enjoyed diplomatic immunity. We hadn't traveled on, we hadn't diplomatic passport, but we were briefed that we had diplomatic immunity. And the immunity does not extend to everything. And let me tell you of an experience. I at Guyana, that is 1989. I am a contingent commander. So I am given a brand new Land Cruiser, big Land Cruiser, with diplomatic plates, UNTAC 1523, I think it was. I have the plate as a souvenir someplace. I am given this, I drive in a diplomatic vehicle. I went into the capital. Windhoek is the capital of Namibia, to do some walking around or shopping. And like in Guyana, I am driving down the road and I saw a park on the other side. So let me imagine, I'm driving going east, and I saw, you're driving on the, let's say you're driving on the southern side going east, and then I saw a park on the other side facing west. And in Guyana, nothing wrong with that. So what did I do? I go over and park on the place there facing the opposite direction. Park against what was the flow of traffic. Nice park in the corner. When I came out sometime after, there's a traffic ticket on my vehicle for wrong parking. This is a vehicle with diplomatic plates. UNTAG, United Nations Transition Assistance Group. And then I said, but wait, not what up me, I park. Then I realized, then it was brought to my attention, you have to park in the direction of the flow of the traffic. But me, poor boy, Guyana, where I didn't know that. 1989, it was, I know. But the point is that even though I enjoyed some amount of diplomatic immunity, that did not prevent them from issuing me with a ticket, a parking ticket. So let me understand this thing clearly. When the man said, oh, he has a diplomatic passport, and the diplomatic passport and mean that you have diplomatic immunity. It does not. So let me try to educate. And there was someone on one of the programs, I think it was Mark Benskop before the last, who explained it. That you have a diplomatic passport, yes, that doesn't mean that you enjoy diplomatic immunity. And let me relate that to Guyana, because I had this issue when I was traffic chief. Diplomatic vehicles, or vehicles with diplomatic plates, being driven by Guyanese drivers. That issue came up. And I had said, and we sought legal, Lee and Chen and all these people said they cannot enjoy diplomatic immunity. A person a driver in Guyana driving a vehicle with a diplomatic plate, he doesn't have no diplomatic immunity. Let me understand this thing clearly. That is what was told to me then by the late great Ian Chan. Because of course, those of you who knew when I was traffic chief, was pace and power. And people driving anyhow and diplomatic plate, I said, nah, we can ticket or charge. And we had the guidance of Ian Chan. So now the Guyanese can't enjoy, and I think he went to say, you can't enjoy the immunity in your own country, because that, apart from the president in our constitution, because that will put you above the law. Something like that was explained. And I'm saying again, these are the things the policemen and the training academy and all these things that they talk about. These are the things they should research and train the ranks who are out there so they don't go and do the wrong thing or fail to do the correct thing because they don't know what the law is. So we understand this diplomatic immunity thing. Yeah, let me bring in Mr. Conway if he wants to say anything with that, and then we're gonna move on to this controversial promotion list. See anything further than that?
Apart from what you mentioned, it brings him back to something, a traffic situation, where they clamping vehicles, and somebody needs to look at it, because it's not a money making exercise. They're clamping you, gone back to station. When you gonna find them, and you go back and you pay them a raise, they unclamp you. So there's no real accountability. It's a money making business. They said they're scoring a pint, and a pint is $5,000. So they clamp you, and for unclamp, you got to pay a money on the spot. Somebody need to look at this clamping business. Apart from when you're clamping, is that the offense continue all the time. So maybe another day we can go more into this clamping business.
Yeah, but just to say, I said before on this program that if a vehicle is causing obstruction to the traffic, clamping the vehicle cannot solve the problem, because you clamp it and it remains in the position to continue to cause obstruction. So I said these things has to be looked at, and there's no law, and talk after me on this one, there's no law in Guyana that provides for a vehicle to be clamped. None. I did the research, there is none. They're talking about towing away a vehicle that is left in a dangerous position and all that. I know last time I must clamp a vehicle, right? And that is part of the problem. People just creating things. And the Attorney General's chamber should look into these things. And if you have to make legislation, you have to amend the law. Amend the law. But you have policemen conducting illegal operations because there's no provision for vehicles to be clamped. Check the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act or any one of the legislation dealing with that. The Roads Act, or you don't find that. You don't find it. So again, policemen who are here, I know you're giving me instructions and you cannot your instructions, but you cannot be compelled to carry out an illegal instruction. That is law. Now let me move on. We're talking about promotion, What we get? We get about 50 minutes more. It might take all of that. Now there is a list circulating on social media of, a leaked list circulating about recommendations for promotion. My understanding is that this list was prepared by the Force Administration and sent to some place in Carmichael Street. My information is it was not sent to the Police Service Commission as required. It was sent to some place, and it get held up there for whatever reason. It is held up there. And when you come to this promotion thing, I think we are positioned to speak about it. We were members of the Police Service Commission from the 9th of August 2018 to the 9th of August 2021. It's a 3-year term. And if you recall, the president unconstitutionally, unlawfully suspended us on the 16th of June 2021, a mere 53 days before the life of the commission was to come to an end. And I said that the reason why the commission was suspended is because this same Brutus, Calvin Brutus, I call him the name because the facts are there. He took the Service Commission to court. The Service Commission that I chaired. In December of 2020, he took the Service Commission to court because the commission met on the 23rd of December 2020 and created a short list of persons to be further considered. Brutus said in an affidavit in court that the promotion shortlist was leaked to him by a confidential source at the Police Service Commission. He said that in an affidavit. That is not slow manufacturing something. I don't manufacture these things. It is there. So on the basis of this leaked document, this shortlist, they moved to the court. But even before he moved to the court, on the very night of the 23rd of December 2020, I was asked to call the president, the same President Irfan, and I did so reluctantly. And he asked about the promotion list. I then realized that somehow he had known. So I said, well, he asked about Brutus and Karimbash. Let us zoom again. Because the president asked about that. And I told him, I said, very respectfully, he said, sir, well, as I had explained to you, these ranks have pending disciplinary matters. And persons with pending disciplinary matters cannot be considered for promotion until it's, oh God, who tell me said that? The man tear off. How long this matter can be pending? You are keeping matters pending to deny people promotion. I said, sir, not so. I told him, I said, well, in the case of Karimbash, the matter is before the court. Karimbash took the Service Commission before the High Court to challenge the process. I explained, and the man carry on. It's on the 23rd of December 2020. The very next day, Christmas Eve day, the 24th of December 2020, Robson Ben, the Minister of Home Affairs, communicated to Nigel Appy, who was carrying out the functions of Commissioner of Police, that he wanted several persons charged criminally for various offenses. Criminal offenses. The persons, many of the persons who he wanted charged were persons who were shortlisted to be further considered for promotion. People like the late Cooper and others. And it was clear that that was being concocted to prevent them from being promoted. Brutus, who was the admin man, wrote to them and wrote to the commission. He wrote to those people to tell them that they were investigated by CID, they were investigated by SOCU and all of that. When the matter was ventilated in court, the Chief Justice in a ruling on the 28th of June 2021 said that she found Brutus to be self-serving, not Parslow saying so the records of the court Chief Justice in a ruling said she found Calvin Brutus to be self-serving. And they kept him in the position. The signs were there. Long before money laundering allegations and all of that, the signals and the signs were there. The Chief Justice found the officer to be self-serving, and he was kept there. So what you expect? He was kept there. So this whole promotion thing, I give you the background to understand that the Constitution says that the Police Service Commission is responsible for promoting ranks from inspector to assistant commissioner. The Police Service Commission. Nothing to do with the Ministry of Home Affairs, nothing to do with the president, from inspector to assistant commissioner. The same Constitution says, Article 212, to promote deputy commissioners and commissioner of police. President makes a promotion, but he has to consult meaningfully with the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who must first consult with other members of the commission. That is what the Constitution says. And we have a statement here I saw from Minister Ben. Let me find it and read it to you. Let me find it and read it. Y'all bear with me a minute. The Minister Ben telling people that Able Minister Ben is alleged to have said, and this is something in today's Stabrook News, referring to a statement he made some time ago. Home Affairs Minister Ben had said that the allegations of financial impropriety made against Assistant Commissioner acting, they say, of Police Calvin Brutus is being investigated by the Special Organized Crime Unit. And here what Mr. Ben is alleged to have said. This is Stabrook News quoting him. Quote, Mr. Brutus is proceeding on leave to facilitate a full and complete investigation by SOCU. There will be no action in relation to any promotion of Mr. Brutus under these circumstances. Any promotion will be subject to the outcome of the investigation. SOCO has already commenced its investigation, and the government will be guided by the outcome of such promotion. That is what Mr. Ben is saying. Minister Ben is saying that he will not be promoted. He has no say in it. How can the minister make such a statement? I'll tell you all about this political involvement and control, I told y'all that we do statement analysis. We were trained in statement analysis. So when they make these statements, we can come and analyze. Mr. Ben is actually implying that they have something to do with promotion. And there's no such thing. Again, let me read what he said. There will be no action in relation to promotion by Mr. Brutus under these circumstances. Any promotion will be subject to the outcome of the investigation. SOCO has already commenced its investigation, and the government will be guided by the outcome of the investigation. That is what he's saying. That is what he's saying. He's implying that they're dealing with promotion. So I'm saying all of this to say to you that this promotion thing, big controversy with the PPP, because I can tell you further that when we got into the commission in 2018, oh Lord, you had a lot of garbage, a lot of stench. Monies were being paid, sexual favors were being demanded. An investigation was done. I was privileged to see a copy of the report of all the senior officers, some of them currently in senior position, who paid money to the then, there's the allegation in the report, to the then chairman to give them promotion. The money, the report went on to even identify the location where the money was dropped off to be passed on to these people. That is what the report says. I have a copy of the report. I'm not manufacturing these things. So allegations were made that people had to pay for promotion. When we got into the commission, we had to stamp out all of that. We told people you're going to be promoted based on your merit, based on your performance. The next thing we're going to discuss, I'm sure Mr. Conway is willing to deal with that, is when we go through this list, you're going to see supersessions galore. People just superseded with no explanation as to why a person is being superseded. No explanation. And rightly, you check on social media, the ranks are crying out. Those who are being superseded, anonymous letters are being written, people are complaining, and rightly so. The whole process has become very corrupted, because if you have corrupt people in the leadership, this is what you are going to have. But before I go further, let me bring in Mr. Conway. I know he's anxious to get this button, but CC, talk about this leaked promotion list. You like me, you are well experienced in the process, because we served for 3 years at the Police Service Commission. Go ahead, please.
All right, let me just backtrack a bit, and before I deal with the list. Ben's statement, and you're correct in your analysis. And then I remember when I was doing management, with Peter Drucker, he said the art of listening is to listen to what is being said. The art of listening is to listen to what isn't being said. Sometimes I gotta read through the lines. Anyway, let me go this list. This confidential list. This list, which I call secret. They met on the 4th of July at police headquarters. And normally, the secretary for this board is the admin person, the person in charge of admin. Up to then, Brutus was the admin person. And I know what they do, but like they must just start read through the line, they shack you out, and they put McBean as the secretary for the board. The admin man is a man who gets all the information, all about the persons, the custodian of the documents. But see, they put McBean. Now, this list is a serious list, and it would affect police lives, affect the lives of their families. Now, lo and behold, I saying all the time, all along the line, that them top gunners there, they don't get unity. There's no synergy there. Somebody leak this confidential information, this secret document, Somebody leak it. I know it's if it is at the top there, or if when it's sent it to somewhere else, people there leak it. But the fact it is leaked and it is a serious indictment of the police, that document like promotion is being leaked, very, very serious. And then again, nothing is confidential in the Ghana Police Force. Nothing whatsoever. And when you look at the document, I don't know if they look at the amount of vacancies that are available. I don't know. And you look at recommendations. What I write in, recommend a man for promotion, and 3 sentences you're gonna write. Full stop. 3 sentences, full stop. And supersession, the order of the day. In some cases, supersession, one man superseded 8 persons, one superseded 24, one superseded 19, one superseded 18, one superseded 26. You just go on there. Supersession is the order of the day. And if you're going to supersede somebody, you're going to say, why can't we was superseded? Nothing at all. It's just blank. That Jones was superseded Tom, Dick, Harry, and thing. Then no, nothing, no written something. And they say they're writing about promotions, possible promotions, and they're writing at the most I see is four sentences. 4 sentences, and you're recommending. And then again, I see a glaring one. I'm a Borbisian, and Borbis is my favorite place. That the commander for Borbis, and I'm going to call him Chief Prasad Bacchus, they recommend him for promotion to assistant commissioner. He jumped in about 6 persons, superseding about 6 persons. And in that recommendation, they put that the man get a degree from the University of Ghana. No way. Chief Prasad Bacchus not get no degree. Perhaps he must get a degree from the University of Kanji or the University of Palmyra. That he in travel go till cross the West Demerara and get one from the University of IFAC, but he get a degree. And they cocking the situation. I remember we used to go through these things. All the recommendation come, especially supersession, we say, tell me why you superseding this man. Others, right? This rank was not recommended for, this rank was not, is not considered this time. You can explain that to us? Why he was not considered? That's how we used to operate on the Police Service Commission. And no listen again to no ministry. The list gotta come to us. We, the members of the Police Service Commission, can't go nowhere else. Because according to the Constitution, the Police Service Commission is responsible for promotion, not Freedom House, not Ministry of Affairs, not Office of the President. It is the Police Service Commission. And we used to check thoroughly. I mean, I'm a praise ourselves. I remember we had 2 women, Vesta Adams and Claire Jarvis, and them girls used to go through them files minutely. Every file a person recommended for promotion. But what went on there? I just don't know. There's no indication whether anybody passed the appropriate qualifying examination. And I hear they say, core courses. What core courses they run? That persons in pass, there's nothing where a person pass promotion exam or not. And then you have, I see they put 37 ASP from probations. 37 ASP recommended to be on probation. And listen to this one. 140 inspectors recommended for promotion. Do they have those vacancies? 140 inspectors recommended for promotions. The man at the college, think he supersede about 8 persons, and he get recommended to move from ASP to a superintendent. Prem Narang superseded a lot of persons recommended to be promoted to senior soup. He's a triple jumper, and apart from triple jumper, he is also a marksman. and you shoot with deadly accuracy. Perhaps we need to check back them files. You're marksman, perhaps a better marksman than you, Paul, and you're shooting with deadly accuracy. You know, and a big shocker too. I can't tell the school better because they're right out of school. The woman who is in charge of training, I think she has a degree, a degree from Russia. She she went she she went to Russia and she did forensic science. Here she did well. And she's in charge of training with no training background whatsoever. None. And she's in charge of training. And with all them unsolved, more than unsolved crime there, she should have been somewhere at CID or somewhere the forensic lab. Well, I know the functioning, but now she's in training. And you know they recommend you for promotion? They don't recommend you for promotion. Take you put you there in charge of training and no recommending for promotion. So many acts of, I can't even explain what went on. And then you have some persons who left the work and they bring them back as members of the special constabulary. And they recommended one who left as a deputy superintendent, they recommend you for turn senior superintendent. One who left as an ASP, they recommend him to turn as senior superintendent. Two who left as deputy superintendent, they recommend him to come as ASP. Some who left as sergeant, they recommend him to turn ASP in the special constabulary. What really is going on? Perhaps it's a good thing. I will congratulate the person who leaked that confidential document, that secret document. But let me give a piece of the bottom, Paul.
Yeah. But let me say this. Let me say this to you people. The Guyana Police Force published a force order 25 of 2021, published on the 25th day of June 2021. RP was carrying out the functions then. In part 1 of that order, part 1, for those old police gonna know, it talks about the Guyana Police Force promotion policy. It goes into a lot of preamble, and then it tells us that the criteria for promotion, and for some reason, the criteria identified the ranks of deputy superintendent to commissioner. So it's telling us what these people, what the requirements are for those people to be promoted to those ranks. And it's saying here, it tells you everything. For example, to superintendent, you must have a bachelor's degree in either public management or criminal justice or related field, plus 4 years of experience in law enforcement and administration in the police force, or that a diploma in either public management or criminal justice system, plus successful completion of blah, 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 all the ranks. And I'm saying this to you now. You know what I did? And I have the receipts, I have the receipts. They're saying, for example, let me get to it. To be promoted to assistant commissioner. To be promoted to an assistant commissioner of police, they say you must have a postgraduate diploma in business administration or a bachelor's degree in either business management, public management, or criminology, plus 3 years experience in the law enforcement and administration in the police force, or a diploma in either business management, public management, or criminology with 4 years experience in law enforcement and administration in the Ghana Police Force, plus successful completion of the Senior Command Staff Program, successful completion of the Senior Leadership Program, plus 4 years at the rank of Senior Superintendent, minimum 2 years leadership experience in operational organization policing function. That's the Assistant Commissioner. They get more. But let me tell you this, just 4 years. You know what they did? CCM show you would have picked it up. When they put together this, what we call the return, they gave people some dates to say they were promoted from particular dates, which is a clear lie. For example, they said the first man who is there, Mandal, was promoted, they said 1st of January, I think, 2018. Now, we became members of the Police Service Commission from the 9th of August 2018, and we were there until 2021, the 8th day of August 21, notwithstanding the suspension where the president did from the 16th of June 2021. So you are there. And I can tell you that in 2018, All Year's Day, December 31st, we made lots of promotion because there were lots of vacancies. And in going through that process, we ensured that all of the vacancies that existed were filled. In other words, dates were put. And let me quickly tell you how it works, because they don't know. You have a police force, the police force as an establishment. The establishment, I have it here, calls for 1 commissioner, 4 deputy commissioners. We know recently we saw the order from the minister to increase it to 6, 12 assistant commissioners, 17 senior superintendents, 39 superintendents, and so on. So you have an establishment. So normally what happens, when you are going to do promotion, you have to, well, even before I go to that, you have to have what we call a wastage list. You have a list of persons who retire, what date they retire from. Person who resigned, what date they resigned from. Person who died, what date, or persons who otherwise left the job. And there's people with rank. So that when you make promotion, if a man retired from the 1st of January 2021, somebody got to go in to fill that date. Somebody retired, and you look at the seniority in determining that. And we did that. I personally did that diligently to make sure that people who are not denied their seniority and people who are not denied the back pay that they were to get. Because you get retroactive, it's retroactive to the date, right? The current secretary had stopped this process of retroactivity. And if you check the record, you will see what they did prior to us going there, is that if a promotion is made on the 1st of January 2017, everybody get that one day, which is rubbish. All these people could not have all retired or resigned or died on that date. So they never did the groundwork to make sure. We corrected that. So therefore, when the promotion was made by us on the 28th of June 2021, that promotion list that the Attorney General on the 29th of June went on NCN and said the government will not recognize the list. That is what he said. Records are there. When we did that list, I personally, along with the others, made sure that we looked at the dates that were available for people to be appointed from. And in terms of, let me go to the same thing where they're talking about Mandal, Khalid Mandal. They claim in this league promotion thing that his last promotion date was the last promotion date to senior superintendent was on the 1st of January, I think, 2018. That is not so. That is not so. When we look at that, when we did the promotion in June 2021, the first available date for a senior superintendent, the first available date was the 1st of March 2020. The 1st of March 2020 was the first available date. And we went through the list, we went through the old list like that and identified. So now they're saying that his date was the 1st of January 2018. That is a lie, and there are others like that. They just did that to give some justification to this 4 years in the rank that they're talking about. That is what they did. In terms of the qualification they're talking about, let me tell you, they talk about 3 years and 4 years experience. How do you determine 3 years and 4 years experience? You're saying that if a man in a position for 3 or 4 years, he gets 3 or 4 year experience, he might be there 1 year, or he might be there and he get no type of experience because he's not exposed to the things that will give him experience. And there's ample evidence of that. Ample evidence. A lot of people, let me go, Mr. Conway talk about Chief Prasad Bacchus, the man as Regional 6, recommended for Assistant Commissioner. He doesn't satisfy the criteria. He does not. Yeah, I understand. And this is the allegation. The allegation that the man, I know he's computer literate. He used to be there at the training school dealing with computers. I understand the man, he make his own certificate. That is what the rumor that was circulating. The man, which university you get this certificate from? They put it there. And then you go on. Let me tell you more. Let me tell you some more. All right, I have it here. we talk about Mandal. We talk about Chief Fasad Bacchus. We talk about Prem Narain. And they themselves, look at the promotion return. They don't even venture to say that Prem Narain get any qualification. None. They don't even venture because they know that he has no qualification and he does not satisfy the criteria that they set out in the standing order, in the force order rather. They set it out. And he has not tried to even attempt to say that he gets something because what he gets is the board certificate. They have Mitchell Caesar, same thing. They recommended he ain't got nothing. He ain't satisfied their criteria, not we criteria, their criteria. He ain't satisfied. He ain't got no academic qualification, none. And this is a man who recently we know the American pull-in and question. This is a man who allegation made that he collected bribe to cover up the paper shard murder. The man is recommended for promotion. And going back to the ones who they recommend for assistant commissioner, and they lying in the document to say that there's no supersession, lie. Because the most senior superintendent in the Guyana Police Force is Philip Azur, who they get knocked away at CDC, qualification and everything. They get the lock away. To send a return to say that Mandal is not superseding anyone is a lie, it's a blatant lie. It's a blatant lie, and many others are being superseded, as Mr. Conway says, without any explanation. In our day in the commission, you cannot, that ain't getting past me. Why is the person being superseded? You must explain. You must explain why this person is being superseded. And many times they can't explain. In one case in 2020, it's 2021, the 2020 promotion, the thing. They had said that some people who are being superseded are not recommended for promotion, about 13 or 14 persons. I have the list someplace, because they are pending disciplinary matters. And people, including Brutus, who are pending disciplinary matters, who are being recommended. So we will pick up on all of those things and deal with it. Qualifying examinations is the next thing. We look to make sure that people satisfy the criteria. And here we went for not only who they recommend, but people who they did not recommend. If they say, for example, a man is being superseded, we have the seniority list. And therefore, we'll ask to see the person file to say why this person is not being recommended. You have to satisfy us. We were, and the commission is the constitutional authority when it comes to promotion between inspector and assistant commissioner. And as I said before, it's not an easy process. It's a long, grinding process. But we made sure that it was properly done. You know why? Because it affects the upward mobility. It affects the lives of ranks. It can affect the morale of people in the force. So we made sure, days, nights, we used to go in there, go through them files with a fine teeth comb to make sure that it was done. Because we recognized that you could not have relied on the police return that they sent. They told a lot of lies since then. But now the lying has been magnified. The lying and the misrepresentations have been magnified. And easily identifiable once you know what to look for, as we do. And then to go on, let me tell you, they have K Das to be promoted to some senior rank. Check what qualification he get. They got Ramana, who recently the High Court, the Chief Justice in the Tamika Clark, the lawyer who is now a magistrate matter, where he arrested a lawyer for advising our client not to give statement to the police. They sue. The state was found, the face was made to pay some money. The Chief Justice had to make an order for human rights training to be done in the police force. And this same man now is recommended for promotion. And again, CE qualification. He is recommended for promotion. Somebody do the wrong thing. That's what we say all the time. People are rewarded for doing the wrong thing. And when you have people in the force who are working diligently, what do you expect? The force is demoralized. It's not we cause it to be demoralized. It's these acts. I mean, they get Chief Baran, the man in charge of Region 2. The man was the only get board certificate. That's the man in the Dharamlal matter who pulled in the little girl and take how much hours to say taking a statement from the girl to retract the matter. He was complicit in the matter. He was perverting the course of justice. The man is there to be promoted. The man is there to be promoted. They got the traffic chief is there to be promoted. A man who had and has allegations of rape and sexual assault against him. Allegations were made against this man. They get him to be promoted. And again, allegations which should be investigated and clear the man's name. How do you go and promote the man without clearing the name? The stench is there. These people's names should be cleared. It is in their interest to have a proper investigation and clear the name. They also have a B Prasad. B Prasad. The men don't get nothing. They have, well, one of you have Daniels, female officer Daniels. And Mr. Conway alluded to this one. You have, let me go call the name. Alison Moore retired 5 years ago, or thereabout, as a superintendent. Now, the normal practice is that once you retire as a superintendent, any rank you retire in, if you are rehired in the special constabulary, you come back in the special constabulary one rank below that at which you retire. There are a few exceptions. For example, the man in charge of the Presidential Guard, Edgar Thomas, retired as an assistant commissioner, and we agreed because there was a vacancy in the special constabulary for assistant commissioner, and because of the nature of the duty, we agreed that he should come back as an assistant commissioner. Very few cases that happens. She came back as initially a mistake was made, or rather that she coming back as a deputy superintendent. I think there was a clerical error, and they said assistant superintendent, and it was later corrected. So she came back as a deputy superintendent. And then we see she's a superintendent. And now, with a few months to go, because when you come back in the force, we used to call them back in there comebacky. You retire, and you came back in the special constabulary. You come back in the special command for 5 years. You can't work beyond 60. There is no provision for you to work beyond 60. Larry Lewis found that out. Because when Larry Lewis was extended, and the PPP wanted to extend it further than 60, Debbie Baca delayed. Debbie Baca, member of parliament, researched the law and discovered that he can't go past 60, and then he had to reluctantly bow out. So you can't go past 60. But Alison Moore is going to be 60 in October this year, and they are recommending her to be promoted to senior superintendent in the special constabulary. There's no such post in the special constabulary. So it's a whole set of problem with this leaked list. And a good thing the list is leaked. A good thing the list is leaked. So I am saying again that I don't know what will happen with this thing. Because as I've said, it is the Police Service Commission, the constitutional body to deal with promotion. But we see the minister making pronouncement that promotion is going to take place. I understand that the list that was leaked went to places other than the Police Service Commission. And that is what you have, the political control of the Guyana Police Force. And let me tell you something about the persons who are recommended to be promoted to assistant commissioner. 6 persons. First of all, there are currently 10 assistant commissioners. The establishment calls for 12. So if you get 10 and they're promoting 6, so they carry it to 16. Of course, they might want to make the argument that they're catering for consequentials when the deputy commissioners, the additional deputy commissioners are made. But you can't make consequentials before. The word implies this is a consequence of those persons being promoted. But you have to wait until they are promoted, then you get a consequential promotion. But no, all them things are happening now. All them things, so they disregard the whole structure. Because recall, when the minister last week or thereabout amended the Police Act to cater Section 4 of the Police Act to now say that there will be 6 deputy commissioners, the amendment did not cater for the other ranks, and we spoke about it on Monday. So you're amending one level, and you're bringing in additional 2, but what happened to the levels below? Nothing is being done. But we see that recommendations are made now, which seems to be far in excess of what the requirements are. All because of political directions and involvement. All because of that. All because. And again, as I said to you, promotion is a very, very serious thing. People work hard. They have a right to expect promotion. They have a right. Once they qualify, let's understand a lot of people will want to be promoted and they really aren't qualified. They want to be promoted but they aren't qualified. So they're not going to get promotion. Because promotion should not only be because of the years of service you're there, the years you're there in the service should not be only because of the position you hold. It has to be with your knowledge, your work, your conduct, and all of that. So you get people laundering money and so on. So you're gonna promote them. This thing is fraught with all type of problems, and I hope that the people who are in charge and the people who really should be in charge are the Police Service Commission, because they wanted to argue in one of the cases that when they sue me and so on, and they've been arguing that once the recommendation is made by the police force, then the role of the Service Commission is just to rubber stamp the recommendation. That is what is argued in court. The documents are there to say that once the police promotion board sits and make recommendation to the Service Commission should just agree. And they argue that the Service Commission has never had any amendment, adjustment here. I said it's lies. Lie, and I name names of people who are promoted, who are never recommended by the police force, and people who are recommended, and then it is found, as I've said, they didn't meet the criteria, they are not promoted. But that is what you have. That is what you have. And given all the allegations of financial impropriety and other allegations, this is going to further demoralize the force. People have already said that if it comes through, they are going to leave the organization. People are already leaving. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to touch on the next thing quickly. CC.
Yeah, the list, and let me go back to the composition of the members of the current members of the Police Service Commission. They had a great disadvantage because none of them, not one of them, had any law enforcement experience, and they don't know their ranks. They would know them on paper. Depends on what the police send and give them. That's what they accept. Understand allegation. That's what the chairman said the last time. Look, we know the people, and I get instructions. Whatever the police send, them is what they promote. So the last list what they had, they didn't add, they didn't alter, or they didn't correct anything. So those members there, no experience in law enforcement, and that's why the police get the chance and get the opportunity to send a bogus list to them, to fabricate things, to say man get university degree when he ain't get, to say there's no supersession when there is supersession. That all these things there, and who say the man get so much years of experience. Sometimes you get 4 years of experience doing one thing, so you get 4 years experience. 4 years you doing the same thing, so you get no experience. And then 2 females. Remember we talk about the females. No female could be assistant commissioner or senior superintendent. I see now they try to make 2 females senior superintendent, but the female already get a letter for come off the work next year. And when you look at the list, it's nepotism. They're looking at favorites, and as Dr. Peter said, promoting incompetence. The police force is a serious organization, and you're promoting incompetence. And when you're incompetent and you try your incompetent best, you are still incompetent. I'm happy that somebody licked this list, and I'll be happier if some real action be taken, that people really scrutinize this list, or they just send it just so, and the Service Commission will rubber stamp it. There's a sad state of affairs in the Ghana Police Force. We know about we heard about the corruption and all thing there. But this here now, with the promotion, a corrupt list. Some action needs to be taken to correct the situation. But like you can just go through as normal.
Now, let me say this. You made a very important point. I was about to say it and then it slipped me by. The promotion to the rank of assistant commissioner, 6 persons are recommended. And again, let me say this. I have friends, I have people here who are of Indian ethnicity, different ethnicities. This is not being racial. 6 persons are recommended for the rank to be promoted to the rank of assistant commissioner. The top 4 are of one ethnicity. The bottom 2 are of another ethnicity. And if, as we said, the bottom 2 who are of Afro ethnicity have already received letters to retire from the force next year. Already received letters. These are facts. We are not making these things up. So the Volkswagenists and all these are going to look at these things and say Slow and Conway trying what did they say? Trying to block up the police force. No, we are not trying to block up the police force. We are trying to highlight these issues so that corrective action can be taken. The correct action can be taken. Let me move on quickly because we run out of time. Coming back to this allegation of financial impropriety, as they call it. Well, I ain't been to the school. I say, Stephen, students, when they talk about financial irregularity and financial impropriety, the talk is thieving. I mean, roadman language, they're talking about people thieving. Huh? That is what they're talking about. They issue about the investigation into this thieving. You know, they say that Soku is investigating this matter, Soku. And recently, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry said that, let me read the statement here. They said Georgetown Chamber of Commerce has grown increasingly concerned over recent revelations of high levels of corruption and financial impropriety within the Guyana Police Force and calls for an immediate independent investigation. As the body responsible for upholding and enforcing laws in Guyana, it is repugnant that the very individuals who have been empowered to maintain law and order in the country are engaging in malpractices, which brings to fore questions of the Guyana Police Force credibility and objectivity. If the agents of the state who are responsible for maintaining stability and lawfulness are engaged in malfeasance, then they can no longer be trusted to uphold the standards that they ought to be enforcing. The Guyana Police Force must not operate with impunity. In fact, the members of the force must be held to a higher degree of accountability. Failure to act can be viewed as assenting to corruption, and this can lead to a descent into lawlessness. Furthermore, an independent probe is needed in the interest of objectivity and transparency, as the Special Organized Crime Unit, which has been tasked with investigating these issues, is an arm of the Guyana Police Force. The circumstances are abhorrent and untenable. Therefore, the Chamber calls for it to be dealt with swiftly and for those found culpable to face the full brunt of the law. That is the Guyana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And then yesterday, the Private Sector Commission came out with a statement to say that the Private Sector Commission on Tuesday said it had no problem with the Guyana Police Force Special Organized Crime Unit investigating alleged corruption in that law enforcement agency, despite calls in other quarters for an independent probe. And they say, here what the quote there says, SOCU was designed, in our view, to be the source to do police investigation and other investigations, as well as a mark to do so. PSC Chairman Kamal Singh told Demerara Waves online news, asked whether the police force should investigate itself, especially in light of the grave concerns about procurement-related corruption. He said SOCU would be expected to, quote, conduct a professional investigation. It is an independent agency. Now, let me stop right there. This man, who is the president or chairman, or what they call it, private sector commission, he lives in a different world. He is saying here that SOCU is an independent agency. Professional investigation, it's an independent agency. No, sir, it is not. SOCU is a branch of the Guyana Police Force, like all other branches, like the immigration branch, like CID, like TSU. SOCU is a branch. The ranks in SOCU, most of them are policemen under the control of the Commissioner of Police, the direct control of the head of the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, who's currently Assistant Police Commissioner Karimbash, Fazil Karimbash. He is in charge of SOCU at this stage. So for you to say that SOCU is an independent body, perhaps you don't know what the word independent means. But SOCU is not an independent body. SOCU comes under the police force. Ranks are transferred to and removed from SOCU by the administration of the Guyana Police Force. So that we understand that. So once he says that SOCU is an independent body, whatever else he says lacks any sense and credibility. And he goes on to make all other statements. We don't have time to go into any great detail now, but I just wanted us to point out that he is wrong. The Chamber of Commerce has called for an independent inquiry, which we support. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Attorney Nigel Hughes, has similarly called for that. And the PNC, the opposition leader of the opposition, they too call. And other people have been calling for an independent investigation. You cannot rely on the police to investigate this matter, especially in light of the fact that you have senior people who are being implicated. This touches on the involvement of the more senior people in the Guyana Police Force in this allegation of corruption. So let me understand this to say that SOCU can do a proper investigation. I don't agree, and a lot of people don't agree with this, right? And let me say, I wrote something here. Let me read it before I hand over to Mr. Conway to close. It says here, I said, no department within the Guyana Police Force has the capacity and integrity to investigate the allegation of financial impropriety leveled against Assistant Commissioner Calvin Butas or anyone else in the Guyana Police Force. Any such investigation must be comprehensive and credible and must include an audit of the Police Central Welfare Fund, to which ranks make monthly contributions from their salaries, the Benevolent Fund, the Fine Fund, the Law and Driver Fund, and the several other funds in the police force, which, according to credible allegations, have been decimated within the last few years. Allegation abound of the abuse of those funds by those in authority and the denial of junior ranks the benefits to which they are entitled. The investigation arm of the Guyana Police Force, the investigative arm of the Guyana Police Force, or ARMS, are the Criminal Investigation Department, headed by Assistant Commissioner Blanham, and the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, headed by Assistant Commissioner Fazil Karimbash. There's also the overworked Office of Professional Responsibility, which is currently headed by a Deputy Superintendent. The main target of the investigation is Assistant Commissioner Calvin Butas, a close colleague of the two Assistant Commissioners mentioned. During any investigation, the main target can be expected to be questioned, interrogated. She has a constitutional right to refuse to answer any question. I find it difficult to envisage any investigator from the unit mentioned above, including the heads, seriously questioning, interrogating any senior officer, including the acting commissioner, Clifton Ikin, which must be done during that investigation. For an investigation of this nature to be credible, it must be conducted by professional and independent investigators. Anything less would be unacceptable. The image of the Guyana Police Force has suffered tremendous, serious damage. If the authorities are serious about saving the little credibility that is left in the organization, the serious allegation of financial and other grave misconduct, including criminal behavior, which have been highlighted on social and mainstream media, must be properly investigated by a credible entity. That is something I wrote on social media, and I printed out to talk about it again. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to give his closing.
I agree with you, Paul, that SUCU does not have the technical nor professional competence to do this kind of investigation. I don't know who the ranks they get there. When you look at the ranks they got there, they don't have no kind of person to attack. They don't have investigators. They ain't get fraud investigators. They ain't get no person who could do any kind of forensic investigation. Them and there. But they're getting orders, although they come under the commissioner. Allegations are they're taking orders from Carmichael Street and with breakneck speed, whether they get evidence or not. They're getting advice from Robert Walk and Seawall to to persecute people. And then when things don't go well, they're getting instruction they in all pros. So who ain't get no good track record in terms of conviction, and therefore they can't, unless you want persons to get off, or else you want persons thief millions and millions of money and get off with no case submission. So what the private sector is saying, they don't know Suku. They don't know it and its capabilities. They don't know. And I'm maintaining that some other body, and more so I say overseas body, must do the investigations. And another time I'm going to talk about more in details in terms of where it must broaden to. Not only, or I could mention too, not only the credit union, the Kuala Master store, the police consumers, the breakdown mess, the FSCPC mess, the police finance office, you mentioned law and driver package, the welfare fund, the fine fund, the benevolent fund, they mess up Cherry Jagan International Airport and all those things there. That it got to be broadened. It mustn't be only to this credit union, because there are bigger things and there are massive frauds. Some might even be bigger than the credit union. So out goes Suku. They should not be allowed to continue with the investigation.
Yes, my brother. Thank you for that. I fully agree. And folks, time flies when you're enjoying yourself. And we are already past our 2 hours that we would normally give to you. Just to say to you, be safe. I'm not sure when we're going to have the next program. I'm trying to get these technical issues resolved. Luckily, we went incident-free once we get started today. Listen out, as I told you, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Like the page on Facebook, so that if we decide to come before Monday, because we are scheduled as it is now to come to you on Monday. But if for some reason we decide to come to Monday, because we got some catching up to do, remember we hadn't done any program last week, we will make the notification and inform you. But the only way you're going to get the information or get the notification, if you subscribe to the channel and you hit the notification button, which is at the bell on the bottom right side of the on the page. So once you go there to YouTube, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence, and you subscribe to the channel, there's a notification button. You hit that notification button, you're going to get the notification whenever we post anything, including notification for the other programs. But as it is now, we are planning to come to you on Monday. We might come before, I'm not sure, as I've said, depending on developments, because things have been moving very rapidly. Things have been very fluid. We're hearing about a whole cache of firearms found in recent times. You have so many firearms that are found. We want to address all of those as well. We want to address all these issues that should come to your attention, not only what is being released in the media, but to do the analysis, to tell you, do some analytical work, and to bring proper information to you. So until we meet again, whether it's Monday or even before, I want to encourage you to continue to stay well. Guyana is a dangerous place on the roads and elsewhere. A man in the home over the weekend there, people invade and kill you. A dangerous place. So you have to be safe. Until we meet again, just stay well and bye